Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by a fellow colleague from WPP, Karen Blackett, who's the country manager for the UK. Karen, thank you very much indeed.
My absolute pleasure. Just got off the plane.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you here in Amsterdam. You're leading one of the sessions this afternoon on media. I want to ask you a few questions that are specific to that panel, first of all, and then we'll just sort of broaden the debate out. I think the topic of the panel is is mass media dead?
Yes.
Is it?
No. I do think we are fixated in our industry because it makes very good headlines to sort of play off one thing against the other. So it's now all about digital and it's not about broadcast. It's now all about millennials and it's not about boomers. I think we have a habit in our industry of playing off one thing against the other, and absolutely not. Mass media is not dead. Personalisation is brilliant. It allows you to do things which is more engaging. It allows you to fine-tune. It allows you to help convert. But you can't do that without having built a brand first using mass media. So it's not either or. We operate in complex communication systems and you need both.
So what's the balance then between the two? How do you work out?
Well, it's all about your sources of growth. So I think that's the first thing, and what I'll be saying on the panel as well is that we're in the business of growth. Our clients are trying to grow, and it's about trying to work out where your sources of growth are. So if you have still got headroom in an audience which is buying from you, but there's headroom to get them to convert and buy more, that would allow you to think about more personalisation to tip them over to make sure that they then purchase. And it's about understanding their purchase intent, about understanding the different shopper journeys. But if it's about trying to make sure that we're bringing more people in, that allows you a different form of communication system and method, which is more about brand awareness and brand building. So it's about understanding where your sources of growth are and really interrogating your data to really understand who your existing customers are, but then not just talking to them because you want to bring more people in.
So it's becoming sort of much more complicated than
it is. It is. And look, it sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but the more data we have, the more humans you need as well, because data is brilliant and it allows us to look and find those signals which talk to us about purchase intent and where potential could be, but you still need that human intervention in order to really make sure that we're interpreting all those data signals. And it's not about the aggregate, it's not about the individual, it's about the aggregate of the data signals, and it's about taking advantage of those. But it is complicated and it is a complex communication system.
But is there a slight dichotomy within that? Because what we're seeing across the world, I think, is a big growth in programmatic buying.
Look, I think the stat was about 85% of digital displays currently being brought programmatically, and I think it's brilliant. It allows you to do things at scale, it allows you to be efficient, but I always say that you want to make sure that you don't become culturally invisible. You want to ensure that, you know, a brand only exists in the head of another person, and you want to ensure that you're not optimising yourself into a suboptimal position. So that's really important. It is complicated. It's not easy. And when you think about not just paid media, but you think about owned and earned as well, and how we integrate the data signals that we get from those different areas, it is complicated, but we have got brilliant tech and tools which allows us to start stitching things together.
Now, as well as being the country manager for WPP in the UK, you also run one of the biggest media agencies.
I'm chairwoman. Josh runs it. Josh is the CEO.
I'm sure you're
he
there.
runs
I'm
it.
sure you're there with a good guiding hand. You've been in the media industry for some
Since
time.
God was a boy.
Yes, well, I didn't want to go quite as far as that, but as you've said. What changes have you seen, and given where we are in the media world now, are we in a good place or a bad place?
Look, I think the big debate, as well as the personalisation debate and what we can now do with all of the data signals that we now have, the big debate is about transparency and is about trust. And I think there has been, you know, if you think about the Advertising Association and their lead conference that they had, and Keith Weed talking about, look, as an industry, we need to make sure that we build trust again. There was a brilliant book written years ago called The Trusted Advisor, which talks about the equation of trust. And we need to make sure that we are credible. We need to make sure we're reliable. We need to make sure we're building empathy. And that self-orientation divided by self-orientation, it's less about us and more about our customers and our clients. So I think that's the big thing about making sure that as an industry we're trusted. And part of that's about transparency as well. So part of that's about ensuring that we talk to our clients about how we make money and making sure that we advise our clients when it comes to brand safety. So I think those are the big conversations that we're having now in our industry, as well as the conversations about how much more we can do with all the data that's available to us. I mean, we know more now than we ever did about how advertising works and how we can build brands and how we can ensure that we get short-term and long-term ROI. We know more now than we ever did with all of the various, media mix models that we do within WPP and the tools that we have at our disposal. But it's being responsible with that as well, I think, is absolutely key.
Now, I can't let you go without asking just a couple of questions on WPP as I've got you here. What's WPP doing at the moment with the various different companies that it has in the UK to make it more relevant to clients' needs?
Look, I think one of the things that I have done with the help of my UK CEOs is form a client council, and the purpose of our client council is to look at what growth looks like in the next 5 years for them, to find out what their needs are, and it is our responsibility to help them grow. So to make sure that we have the right services and the right departments and the right talent to help deliver that growth. So the Client Council allows us to talk to our clients in an intimate basis, small circles of 6 to 8 clients at a time, to talk about growth in the next 5 years and to start working out what's missing and what we can do and what the challenges are. Part of the conversation's about having the right talent, and that's about the diversity as talent as well as the actual specialism of that talent. And part of what we've done as well, Mark Reed appointed Stefan in the Chief Technical Officer role, making sure that as WPP, we now are looking at a WPP tech platform, making sure that that platform is modular, that it is not just our data, but looking at our clients' first-party data, because that single view of our clients' customers is absolutely the holy grail, and that will help them with their personalisation.
Well, finally, Karen, how would you describe, in just a few words, the times we're living in? When you walk out of your front door in the morning and get to the office, what do you feel? Is it?
Oh, I would say I would describe optimistic, challenging, dynamic, and exciting. I think we're in exciting times.
That's quite a nice way of leaving the house in the morning. A nice friend of mine to get into the office.
Definitely.
Well, Karen Blackett, Country Manager for WPP in the UK and Chairman as well of MediaCom. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm very looking forward to your session a bit later on. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.